I'm 𝐿𝐷 and welcome to our online nail art tutorial. So today we are going to demonstrate this design right here, and everything that we use is available at www.tinovo.shop. Now let's get ready for the lesson.
So for this lesson, it's all using the same technique. So I'm gonna go through the blue part right here, which involve a lot of line work and shading. So I am gonna go through what brush to use and how to use it. Then I'm gonna go to the orange part. That is when we're gonna play with some special effect product. First thing first, I am going to use pigment base, and we're gonna use pigment base to draw this white part right here. And for this finger, you're just gonna paint pigment base all over the nails. But for this finger, you're gonna paint a white part up here and a white part down here. So this is what I'm gonna use next. Now we gotta talk about what brush are we going to use. So I have with me two different brushes. One is a 10mm line brush. A lot of people know about these. These are the brushes that I use for lining. And the other one are an emboss brush. Now emboss brush are a little more unique. Some people know it very well and some don't. So I'm gonna explain the difference between these two. Let's go ahead and take our nail palette, and we are going to put out some pigment base on a nail palette. Now for a 10mm liners, obviously it's used for line work. I am going to take out a brush conditioning cleanser and a carnival dab and dip cup so I can clean my brush first. And this is our oil-based formula. The oil and vitamin will help condition your brush while you're cleansing it. And the oil is safe with all gels product. Now I am going to dip this in. Make sure it's all fanned out, and then wipe it with a paper towels. Dip this in. So for line work, I typically like to use a gel paint. A gel paint, it is something like this. So this is a one stroke liner. This is a gel paint, so it's more thicker than a gel polish. However, sometimes I do use pigment base to paint line, to draw not just polish in the nail or French tip, but I also use it to paint like a line like this, just because pigment base are very opaque. So it's also really good with line. However, when I'm filling in, so if I do a line like this, oh, that's easy breezy. I will use 10mm liner, but note that we are going to color everything in here, right up here, and then color the tip down here. So we're talking about Frenching or color blocking. And when I use a thin line brush like this to paint, it can take a lot of time just to completely cover everything. That is why I am gonna move on to the emboss brush. Emboss brush are thicker built than the liner brush. If you use it for thin low line, it will be more difficult. Let me go ahead and clean this. So if you take this and paint it a thin line, you have to be an expert at this, because you can only touch the head just a little bit and you're running down like that with light pressure. So it's semi-thin, but not as thin as a 10mm. So 10mm, it can go really, really, really thin. So you have to be good with your pressure to use an emboss brush for lines. But for thick line, like if I do like a sway, oh, then that's fabulous. Versus when I use a 10mm to paint a line this thick, I have to actually go over it one or twice or maybe 3 times. Where the emboss brush, you can take care of it in just one stroke. So that is one of the different between the emboss brush and the 10mm liner, but this is amazing for coloring. Look at this. Just because it's built thicker, you can color it very well. And it's thicker, meaning it's stronger. So when you press, the gel is going to be really thin, which I love. So for this technique, I am absolutely going to use the emboss brush. I want to explain that for you so you know what you are dealing with. Now, before I paint, I'm going to show you how I load my brush. I am laying this in, twist from side to side. So when it's loaded with gels, which is going to be very smooth when you paint, I am going to go ahead and drag this out just like this to make it slimmer. And then I'm going to go in here and paint. Let's go ahead and do this one right here. So, one on top, start right in the middle, curve down, start right in the middle, curve up. This is how I do it on my client before I switch her nail upside down like this. One on top, curve down. The second line, this other side right here, I'll try to go a little slower so I can match. It can be symmetrical. And then jump right down here. Painted this line just to save time. Now, here comes the fun part. You are going to fill this in like this. Trace around the cuticle. This brush is fabulous when you know how to use it. Plus, emboss brush you can also use to work with like heavy gel, like builder gel and such. If you want to draw one of those seashell line, you should use this brush instead of a 10mm brush. And knowing its functionality gonna save you so much time. Okay, we are going to go ahead and cure this nail for 60 seconds. Now let's talk about this part right here. So I'll tell you what's this made up. What is a layer that this consists of? So behind this, I draw the orange lines. It is from the white pigment base, of course. And then after that, I put on a sheer gel layer. It's called an amber gel to make it become orange. So when I design, I'm not just gonna finish this part and then worry about this part. I'm gonna do everything all at once. So I am taking out pigment base again. Now with the emboss brush, I am gonna go in and draw a circle. Now this is when, if you use the emboss brush, you have to really know your pressure. You see, you only hold a light pressure on the tip of your brush. If not, your line gonna be thick. And you can do a thick line, but it have to be consistent. Just like this. And then we are going to do the bottom part. Actually, I'm gonna press in just a little more just to make the line thicker. There. So it's a really good brush for lines that are not thin. For lines that are thick like this, it's a good brush. But you gotta know how to control it when it comes to lines. Now, when it comes to coloring, you don't have to know how to control it. It works for you. It's very easy. And when I am gonna draw inside, I actually going to switch to a 10mm and draw this little line inside. I'm gonna mark the center first. And then I'm going to draw one line towards it. See, now I'm dealing with thinner lines, so that's why I switched to a 10 millimeters. And you know, you don't have to switch. You can use either just the 10 millimeter brush or just the emboss brush. You can do either or, but it's going to be a little harder for you to try to use one brush for both jobs. Where when I switch brush, it made me much more comfortable with my art. See that? Now, you see that what I have in right now look like this, but what I want is to go in and find this little corner right here. It looks like a pizza slice, and the outside corner, I want it to be round off like this, like that. And I want to do it on every single corner because I want it to look like this, a teardrop, instead of looking like a triangle. So that is what I am going to do. But now we have to talking about what brush to use. Let's try to stay with the 10 millimeter to see if that is a suitable brush for this step. You see, I still can do it. But what happened is I'm messing with these tiny little details, and the 10 millimeter is a little long. So me, I have no problem doing this because my hands are steady. So I can use just the tip of my 10 millimeter brush. And I can just reach in here and touch it lightly and round it up. I can do that. But you see, for a beginner who don't control the brush very well, what happens is when they're doing this, they might accidentally adjust the pressure just a little bit, and they might mess it up. Because when you do line, it's easier. You see, you can almost lay the brush completely down and drag it. So that's easy. But when you do little curvature like this and color it in, you cannot lay it down and drag it. You have to just use the tip of your brush to maneuver, to finesse it. And that's require a lot of control. So this is when I recommend the 7 millimeter detail brush. You are going to fall in love with this. When it comes to job like this, it's make things much more easier because 7 millimeter brush is much shorter. It's almost like a pen, like using a pen. Of course, you don't drag the 7 millimeter brush like the 10 millimeter brush. You're actually using the tip, and because it's short and it's a little stiff, so again I say just like a pen. And when it comes to detail like this, where you need to do a lot of curve, a lot of maneuver, this is a perfect brush for that task. Look at that. Just round up this corner and done. So yes, you can use a 10 millimeter brush, but when I switch, it's make my life much more easier. So let's go ahead and cure this. So now let's talk about amber gels. So this amber gel, it is a sheer gel. It's see-through. It's like a gel that I use for shading. So I also have a stained glass gel number 3. It's also an orange. So what is the difference between these two? This is an orange stained glass gel, also used for shading. But amber gel is more natural. And I use it for a lot of natural design like turtle shell or like amber marble art. Anything that require an orange, but a natural tone of orange. You see, I have a black nail right here, and I'll show you. I put on a stained glass gel number 3. Let me zoom in so you can see. Let me zoom in just a little more. When I apply stained glass gel number 3 on, as you can see, it's sort of affecting the black. This is the tone that is give you right here, up here. it gives you this tone. But on top of black, it turns into this color. Versus amber gels. When I apply amber gel on, this is what it looks like on clear. But you see on black, it's completely disappear. And when it comes to like total shell, where you don't want your black to become like this color, you want your black to stay black, this gel is fabulous for it. So for this lesson, I am using amber gels, but for this, you can also use stained glass gel number 3 too. You can use either way. I just explain for you the difference so you know the difference of what to use. I am gonna go ahead and put that out on a palette, just like this. And for this design, it's not going to make much of a difference if you use stained glass gel number 3 or amber gels. But for a certain design, especially like I say with total shell, you really need to use this instead of the number 3 for that other design, for the total shell. But for this one, you can use either or. So let's pick out our brushes. Of course, at this point, liner brush is out of the question. At this point, we have to use a brush with a thicker body because we're using this for coloring. So emboss brush, you already know, but I also have a coloring brush. It's like the emboss brush, but it's much shorter, as you can see. So I'm gonna play with both just to feel it out. First is the emboss brush. I'm gonna dip it in. Always have to twirl it from side to side just to saturate it. So you see a brush with this thick of a body, it can hold gel very well. Now, let's go ahead and paint half of this. Very decent, very nice. Very nice. Okay. Now, let's switch to the coloring brush, which is like the emboss brush, but it's shorter. This is the first brush that I made for coloring. Let's see. So, I feel like this brush is much stronger than the emboss brush. I would say that it's color faster with this step. So, you can use either or. Just with this step, it's much faster because I gotta twirl it. The gel is liquidy, so it's cell level. It doesn't matter how I apply. And with that, I feel like the embossed brush gives me just a tad bit more advantage. But, the coloring brush give me just a tad bit more advantage. But the embossed brush will be just fine. So I am going to cure this for 60 seconds. So now let's see what we have left of this design. So we already have the amber gel layer on the orange. What's left is pixie gel, which is a bronze part right here. Pixie gel, it is no wipe. It don't need any top coat, so it will be on after I apply my top coat. And the texture here is from clear texture gel, again, that is on top of top coat. So at this point, we can stop right here where the orange part is, and we can jump back up here and down here to start painting the blue design. So now I am going to take out my ultramarine art gel. Art gel is cell level. I do love to use it for design, and this color are perfect with this blue pattern right here. And of course, the brush that I will use will be the 10mm liner. I always choose that first when I'm painting line. Now, if I meet difficulty, I might switch to a 7mm so it can be shorter. Or if I need to draw straight line, then I might switch to a 20mm. But I always start out with the 10mm first. And I'm gonna take this out. Again, I am gonna take this, I'm laying my brush in, I twist from side to side so the brush hair, it can fan out and all the gel going in it, and then I stroke it out so it becomes slimmer and I am going in. First, I am gonna draw some like a van. I'm gonna draw some van first, just like this. The line right here. Maybe draw out some little leaf. You can draw whatever you like when it comes to this flow blue design. The color is the most important, but not the pattern. You have to choose the right colors. Some little leaf right here. And up here, maybe some of the swirl detail. Just like this. Now the reason why my line are thin up here is when I draw, I only touch the tip of my brush, just like this, and I am running. So you have to have consistent pressure. If you press, it becomes bigger. So if you want from thick to thin, you just press, and then when you run, you slightly lift up your brush. It becomes like a teardrop. So the leaf, I start out thin, and then I press, and then I lift. So it's like a leaf pattern. Thin, thick, thin again. Just like that. So these are some of the steps that you can practice to be really good at this. Let's go in with some more design. From here, I draw an N. And then I stop. From here, I draw it out. You see the little swirl that I'm doing. I don't do it all in one stroke. I break it apart. Just like that. That's pretty. Maybe some leaf detail right here. Like this. Like this. Okay, so far we have fun with this design, but let's say if I want some of these detail right here, you see this is like a little grapes, and there is like an orange slide right here. So we're talking a lot of short little curve, and when it comes to these short little curve, I like to switch brush. And the brush that I will be using, it will be the 7mm details. The shorter it is, the better for these short little curves. Let's draw a bunch of circles, like a grapevine. See that? You just use the tip of your brush and you curve. Now, with the little curvature right here, the 10mm might be a little bit more challenging. Not for me. I can use a 10mm. But for beginner, they might find that the 7mm work way better when it comes to these. Because you have to do a really sharp curve, and you need something that are a little shorter and a little stiffer. 10mm birds are flexible for lines, but these are very short line, short and curvy. Another circle here. Little stem right here for the grapes. Some of the leaf for the grapes. Okay, some of, let me see, maybe a little more detail around it. Okay. Now, when you take a look at these, and when you take a look at these, it doesn't quite alike. These look really realistic and beautiful. This is a little basics, but you gotta be patient because you haven't shaded yet. When it comes to shading, we're not gonna use gel paint. We're gonna use a stained glass gel. And that will be a blue stained glass gel number 8. This is number 8. And this is a blue stained glass gel. We're gonna use that for shading. So be patient, because when people are impatient, they keep trying, they keep going. They will take this gel and they will try to shade a little bit. Don't do that. You just do one step at a time. So we are going to worry about the frame first. As you can see here, there is like a frame around these, okay? And the blue is a little thicker. So what brush are we going to use? Because we still can use a 10mm liner if we want, but remember it's very thin. So let's take out the emboss brush. This one right here, okay? And why not the coloring brush? Because even though the coloring brush is a little stronger than the emboss brush, it can do thick line too, but you see it's short. And a line from here to here, you want to use something that are longer. And that's why I am using the emboss brush for that purpose. It can curve more, where the coloring brush is also like a pen, like a marker, and it might not curve well for you. When it's short, when the line is short, maybe, but this is a long curved line. You need something more flexible to get the job done. And I say you can keep using one brush, but your life might become easier if you switch brush. Like that. And if you want to be a little extra, you can also frame around this. It's your choice. As I say, the design don't really matters, but the color have to match. It have to be like a flow blue colors. If you hear flow blue and you don't understand, it's a type of glass porcelain ware. You might be familiar with China pattern. Sometimes people call it China pattern. Sometimes people call it Gensuki design. But the most common name is flow blue. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and cure this for 60 seconds. Let's take out stained glass gel number 8 with a palette. And we're gonna put number 8 on top of a palette. Just like this. Close this. I'm gonna take this away and put stained glass gel right here. Now you might want to ask, well, what is stained glass gel? Stained glass gel is like jelly gel we used back in the old day, but it's much richer than jelly gel. It's rich like gel polish. So it's see-through completely like glass, but you can see more of a color on it. So that is what I'm gonna use on top of the white background to give it more dimension and shading. This is when I will need to use the coloring brush right here, because I'm not gonna draw lines. I'm done with lines. Now I'm just twirling it around, painting and shading. Right now the emboss brush not going to be very practical. So what I'm doing is I am painting a little spot right here, okay? And if I want to ombre it out, I take in my brush and I wipe it off a palette, just like this, so I don't have a lot of gels. So when it's sort of clean away from gels, I am take this clean brush and I'm tap, 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 just like this. Okay, just to blend it out. So how am I going to do this is I am not going to color and blend, color and blend. I am gonna color it all at once, like this. And then when I'm done, I am going and blend them all at once. Much easier, much faster. cure this. And you only need to really flash cure these. The reason why you can flash cure this because the rule is you cannot flash cure gel polish. It will wrinkle on you. But you see, stained glass gel is not like a gel polish. It's see-through. So when you flash cure, it will cure correctly because the light can penetrate through all that gel layer and make it semi-solid. So you can go ahead and stop after flash cure and worry about shading another part of the nails. And then you can flash cure it just like this. 1, 2, 3. And then you can go up here and do a little more shading. There's no rules, just so you know. You just don't want it to be all white. You don't want to shade too much that it's gonna be all blue neither. You just want it to look blendy and have detail in it. It'll make it beautiful. Just like this. See that? It's already sort of similar already. So we are going to cure this for 60 seconds. So let's take out our Shine It top coat. Shine It is a scratch-free top coat. Because back in the day, I painted my client now, and when they come back, it will look blurry or scratchy after like 3 or 4 weeks. But my client keep the nail on for a long time. And I just don't like the old nail look. So I make this. So when they come back, the nail is shiny. That is what I require of my client. Go ahead and apply to the entire nail with Shine It. Now, go ahead and put this in here for 60 seconds. So, let's examine this look. And this look, okay, it's nice, but there's something missing. What is it? So, when you look at this, I will zoom in so you can see. I mean, you can see this little embossed pattern, this little white embossed pattern. And you don't have to do that, but if you do, it will elevate your design just a little bit more. It will look more like a porcelain when you have some kind of texture on it, right? So if you want to upcharge your client, you can absolutely push this a little further, but you don't have to. If you want, if the design needs to be basic, if client doesn't really want texture, then you can just be done right here. But I love textures. So what I am going to do is I am going to use a special gel to make these textures. And I'm using white texture gels. So white texture gel is a gel for emboss. You can draw it a little thicker. So I am going to take out white texture gel and I'm going to put it out in a nail palette. I'm going to wipe my tool clean. I'm going to close this and put it right here so you can see. I'm going to go in with my detail brush. This is an interesting brush for a thick gel like this, but after many years of doing design like this, I find that when it comes to something like this, I like to use a detail brush for this part. So I'm twirling it in just like I showed you, so the gel can saturate into the brush. I am pulling it out because I want it to be really, really thin. I just saturated the brush so the gel is smoother. It's necessary. Doesn't matter if you use the whole body of the brush or not. You should always make sure that it's saturated with gel. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna whip only a tiny bit of gels onto the tip of my brush. Then I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna paint a little twirl right here. Now, the reason why I only take gel on the tip of my brush, because when I drag it out like this, when I put it on, it's all the gel on the tip of my brush pretty much already applied. And when I drag it out, because I'm missing gel, because it's only in the tip of my brush, the tail are very sharp and pointy, and that is what I like. I think that that's beautiful. So that's why I only take gel just on the tip, just a little bit of gel on the tips, and I will press it in. See, and when you drag it out, you will run out of gel, so the line become really sharp. I like to do that a lot, and that's why I like to use the 7mm for that step, because when I do emboss like this, I always want a sharper tails. I'm gonna go in here and add little curvature inside the grapes, because it's funner this way. You don't have to. It just enhances the look. It just make it look like you can almost touch it. And, well, of course you can touch it either way, but it make you want to touch it if it have textures. Gonna outline the leaf too. And on this white background, it's a little boring, so I'm just add a little white dot on it, just to give it a little more textures. And I'm going down here, I'm doing the same things. See a little curve here, little curve here, just like that. Little curve right here. Okay, now, am I done? No. I need to do little dot. You see these have tiny little dots that are so cute. I am gonna do that. And I'm doing that with the engraver and mixer tool. I use this tool a lot. You probably already see me use it about 3 times already to scooping out gel and put it on a palette. So this tool are not a unique tool. You can find it in a lot of places, not in the same tool. They have 2 little heads. You can find this in a lot of places. You can also find this not in a lot of places, but you can find this. What makes this head unique is that it don't have a dotting tool at the end. It's blunt like a needle, but it have a blunt head. This is a little rare, but I have it made to where both of the head are in the same tool because I use it a lot. So that is called the engraver and mixer tool on my website. See, make dotting easy. Embossed gel are amazing to create a little dot like this. Embossed gel don't need any top coat when you cure, so that's why I choose to top coat the nail first and then use embossed gel right on it. It'd be pointless if I do this and then top coat everything. Then I don't need texture gel at all. I can just use a gel pen, but it wouldn't give me the same result. So that's why I top coat first. It's very important to know your layer when you're designing. See, when you are happy, you go ahead and cure, and then we'll move on to the next step. Remember to cure for 60 seconds. And let's take out bronze pixie gel. This is what we're going to use next. Now, if you don't know what is pixie gels, this is the hardest selling product. You see, this is a gel that filled with sparkle. And I love sparkle, you see, but back in the old day, before I have these gels, I use like glitter gel, but I can never get a solid line. It keeps spreading out on me, and it's very irritating because there's not enough glitter anywhere. So when I make these gels, I make it full cover. So you can take these gels and you can paint, and like you can see here, you see it's very solid. That is what pixie gel is. But you see, solid gel, especially solid glitter gel, sometimes the gel is very thick. Because more glitter means the gel have to be thicker, right? So that is where the beauty of pixie gel coming in, because it's solid in glitter, but it's very smooth. The gel formula is thin. Just the glitter is thick. That is two of the amazing ability that pixie gel have. But the one thing that I love about it the most is that pixie gel don't need any top coat. You see, back in the day, back in the old day, if I have a nude background like this, let's say I have a matte nude, and my client want me to take a gel like this and draw on her nail, let's just draw like a heart, okay? Or maybe even something more complicated than a heart. Maybe a double heart. Maybe another little heart inside the heart, okay? Just whatever line work that they want you to do. So I will take a gel like this and do that. Hopefully that the glitter will be this solid and this easy to use. But I'm not done. You see, I have to pray that they want to top coat everything. Because if they ask me, well, Tino, can you leave the background matte and the glitter shiny? Well, very easy to say, right? But you see, if I want to do that, I have to trace top coat onto each of these glitter line, and I am dreading it because that takes so much time, and it's not worth the time that I put out for the money that I receive. And that's why I have pixie gel made to what you don't need any top coat. Because with a matte nude background like this, you can take pixie gel, you can draw it on. After you cure it for 60 seconds, you are completely done. And this is the beauty of pixie gels. And that is what we're going to use on top of this design, because we already top coat this already. So let's take out these nails. And the brush that I choose will be the 10mm brush. I will take out more bronze pixie gel. I have 15 colors of pixie gels, and this is one of the color. This is bronze. Now I am going to paint on this, and when I paint with glitter, I would like to use just the tip of my brush, and I'm gonna paint it all the way through. You can paint a little thicker if you want. Pixie gel cures very well. This is an amazing gel, and everybody loves it. Everybody have a bottle of pixie gel of some colors. Some have all the colors. See, I have like a lot of different colors. So you're gonna cure this for 60 seconds. The next gels that we are gonna talk about is clear texture gels. So you see these emboss pattern right here? Clear texture gel doesn't need any top coat. So I'm gonna use that to apply on top of this to make it more embossed. Because it's work like this, but it's still a little basic with just this pattern. So we can make it more interesting. Because remember, the more interesting you make it, the more you can charge for your design, because instead of mediocre, it now will look luxurious. So let's take our clear texture gel, and we will talk about clear texture gel and what it is. Besides, it doesn't need any top coat. Clear texture gel, it stays still for you. So if you ever use a builder gel, you should know that clear texture gel is the complete opposite. Because builder gel is cell level. So when you're doing these little lines that are close to each other like this, see, these are close to each other. If you use a builder gel, it's gonna blend up. You're gonna start running now, because that's what cell level mean. Cell level mean it's gonna run and blend by itself, so it can be smooth for you. But we don't want that. We want something that are completely staying still, and that is why we use clear texture gel. As you can see here, I put a little bit out on the palette, because clear texture gel just because its ability of standing still, the ingredient in it are very sensitive to light. So if you just open the bottle and use it like this, then if you're near a window, it might slowly kill your gel. Also, if your salon have a very strong lighting, it can also slowly kill it. Not all lighting will kill it, but certain type. And you don't want to risk it. So you're going to take that out like this. And then you want to scoop some up like that. Place it on here. You can twirl your brush so it's becomes smooth into a little circle like this. Okay. And then you can just, when you do this, you can just drag this out. But it's required a little skill. Because when you drag that out, the tail have to be really small. Let me zoom in so you can see. Let me do it again. See, you scoop a bit on your brush like this. Just focus on the tip of your brush. And you lay it down and you twirl it so it becomes like a smooth circle. And then you drag it out. But you see, you have to use light pressure to drag it out. So the tail can be really thin. If you really press it, then the tail gonna be really thick and it's not gonna be pretty. So that is, take a little skill. So what you can do is you can break it apart. You can twirl it into a circle like this and disconnect with it. And then you will go into your palette and you take that brush, which have a lot of gel on the brush. You can stroke it out. So now your brush are nice and slim. Then you're gonna go in. You're gonna drag that out with a slim brush. Completely beginner friendly. So that is some of the tricks that you can use if you meet difficulty when you design pattern like this. It's help to know a little trick like this. But if you are skillful, if you're really good with this gel, you don't have to do that. But I show you just in case, because back in the day, I started now doing now. I've been to every level from a person who don't know how to design at all to a person who is a beginner design, like a beginner in design, and then going to intermediate and then going to master level. So I noticed a lot of things that I have struggled with. So I'm aware that I might be able to do this in one swoop, but there's people out there that might need a little help on a little trick, like what I just show you, just breaking it apart, just twirling it, go back and clean your brush, and then with a slim brush, you drag it out. That would be easier for beginner. Now, after you've done all this, as you can see all these lines are close to each other, but it doesn't blend. That's the beauty of it. You can leave it there for an hour and then come back. It doesn't go anywhere. And this gel, this clear texture gel, can apply chrome. So just in case you want to do chrome design, you can absolutely use it for chrome. Go ahead and cure this. And then I am going to clean up this gel. All right. Take this out. And it is completely done. No need for top coat. Your client can walk right out the door. And that is the completion of our lesson today. And with this technique, you can use it to do the entire nail set. And of course, you can be very creative with your pattern. But this is how you achieve this design. Looking expensive, looking texturized. But of course, you don't have to do all of the steps that I just showed you. You can just have a little more simple design. You can skip the texture, you can skip the emboss, you can skip the pixie gels, but these are all the tool and technique that I provide for you, so you don't have to even do the same design. You can use those knowledge to do other design, anything that you want. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me, and remember to subscribe us on YouTube at 𝐷ino 𝐕. And everything that I use today is available on www.𝐷inoVo.shop. And until next time, bye-bye.